90.9 FM, Farmington. KSJE is supported by San Juan Regional Medical Center, here to meet your urgent and emergent medical needs, whether they are COVID-19 related or not. Medical emergencies happen when you least expect them. Whether it's a stroke, heart attack, illness, or injury, San Juan Regional Medical Center's caregivers are here to provide care to you and your loved ones. Find out more online at sanjuanregional.com. Ten minutes past 8 o'clock. It is Tuesday morning, July 14th. Good morning, everyone. I'm Scott Micklin. Thanks for tuning in to KSJE, 90.9 FM over the air here in San Juan County, 103.3 FM over the air in Colorado, and of course, streaming everywhere from our website at ksje.com. Welcome also to our viewers who are joining us live this morning on the KSJE Facebook page and YouTube channel. We're glad that you are with us this morning, everybody. Coming up in the next few moments, my guest on the program today, Jamie Church, is standing by from the Farmington Chamber of Commerce. Connecting commerce to community. We'll be talking about how that is being done these days and much, much more. Coming up in the next few moments right here on KSJE. Then, of course, later on this hour, it is Tuesday, our Adopt a Pet Tuesday segment. Amber Francisco will be joining me from the Farmington Regional Animal Shelter. We'll be talking about some of the dogs and cats available for adoption this week, including the dog on the screen right now. That's Lacey, who is looking for her forever home. So join us for that coming up today at 8:50 a.m. on KSJE. At 9:06, Mick Hess will take us roving with the arts. It, of course, is our weekday classical music program. Mick is playing more Bach cantatas for us, and this morning it's Cantata 147, Gabriel's Oboe, on the program today on Roving with the Arts. And, of course, we invite you to connect with us on Twitter and Instagram, in addition to Facebook and YouTube. And the weather forecast for today, it shows a lot of rain, but in fact the forecast details say maybe a mix of clouds and sun and some very isolated rain showers today. The high temperature 95 in Farmington, down to 67 overnight. Drier tomorrow with lots of sunshine, a high again of 95 degrees on Wednesday, 91 on Thursday and Friday, back up into the mid-90s for the weekend with another chance of a scattered shower or thunderstorm in the forecast. Before I get to my guest this morning, Jamie Church, I do want to get an update on conditions out at the San Juan County Detention Center, and for that we have Devin Neely on the phone this morning, the Public Relations Manager for San Juan County. Devin is joining us live this morning. Good morning, Devin Neely.
Yeah, good morning, Scott. Thanks for having us.
Thank you very much for calling in this morning. Of course, the situation at the detention center yesterday began on Sunday, but what are the conditions this morning? Is everything somewhat calmed down this morning?
Yeah, certainly. Everything is pretty much returned to normal at the San Juan County Adult Detention Center this morning after the disturbance yesterday, which we appreciate our partners at the local law enforcement, local fire departments for assisting and take care of that situation.
Very good. And so I know, and you were very careful to call this a disturbance and not a riot, as it's been called maybe in other media, and the definition of that and the reason why is because, as you said, the inmates, the detainees were never really in control of the detention center at any given time during the one day of unrest. Is that true?
That's correct. We feel that this incident didn't rise to the level of a riot. You know, that we can only report 2 minor injuries so far. One detainee was transported to the hospital, and I'm working on getting a condition this morning. And there was an assault on the administrator of the ADC, but with such, you know, there was some property damage. We did require assistance from law enforcement, but we don't feel that this rose to the level of a true riot, especially when you maybe compare that to other riots that we've seen in the past here in the state.
Understood. And those injuries that you mentioned, Devin Neely, I mean, can you give us any idea? You mentioned you were trying to get an update on how they're doing this morning. I mean, but are these minor injuries, life-threatening injuries? Do we have any idea on the severity?
These are both very minor injuries. The adult detention center administrator was checked out and returned to duty during the course of the incident, and I don't have a status on the detainee who was transported at this time.
All right. And there were some reports, too, that some of the inmates were using some porcelain shards, maybe some broken toilets as weapons and things like that. Is that something you can confirm for us this morning?
Yeah, that's correct. There were some incidents where the detainees were breaking toilets and using the pieces of porcelain as weapons, throwing those at detention officers and law enforcement officers. There was also a time that bed linens were lit on fire within the cell blocks. We had enough fire that we had to activate the sprinkler system, despite having detainees broken some heads off of the sprinkler system. So at one point the sprinkler system was activated, it was deactivated, and then activated again. So yesterday and this morning, one of the big goals is to clean up the facility and make it available and proper for detainees once again.
Right. And the other thing, just in closing, Devin Neely, I want to ask you a bit about the detainees, and you had mentioned in the report that you had sent out yesterday was that their concerns, I guess what kind of sparked some of this unrest, was about one hot meal a day and also about some delays in getting maybe test results back from COVID-19 testing at the center. And so in both of those cases, you said that the county officials were working on trying to rectify some of those things. Is that still where things stand today?
Yeah, that's correct, and that is the situation. This disturbance was begun on Sunday afternoon. Some detainees became agitated. They didn't feel that they were receiving proper treatment because 2 out of 3 meals of the day are cold at this time. This is temporary because we use detainee population to work in the kitchen and feed the rest of the facility, and with 14 full-time positions, 2 shifts of 7, without that many detainees working in the kitchen, we're unable to provide 3 hot meals a day. The other concerns that they brought up are they didn't feel as though it was proper that they were not being tested, but according to the Department of Health, the guidance right now is to only test detainees who are negative and not retest detainees who are positive. It's also important to mention that in Department of Health numbers every day, the positives are cases. That does not include retests of the same case, if that makes sense. One of the other detainee concerns is that they don't feel as though they were adequately notified that they were COVID positive. They contend that they were just placed in the COVID pod and they don't understand why, and they don't have any proof that they were positive. But unfortunately, the Department of Health is charged with informing folks of their test. Due to HIPAA concerns, it is not the responsibility and it's not the place and it's not proper for detention staff to tell those detainees that they are positive or negative because it's protected HIPAA information.
Got it. Understood. Well, and we all know about that. So that is some of that health privacy laws that you do need to follow. So that does make sense to me. Well, Devin Neely, I appreciate the update this morning. Thanks very much, and we are glad that the injuries to everybody seem to be minor. So thank you for joining us.
Thank you for your time, Scott.
You bet. Thank you very much. That is Devin Neely. He is the Public Relations Manager for San Juan County, joining us live this morning here on KSJE. And that brings me to my guest for the rest of the program this morning and a much different topic, which is Jamie Church from the Farmington Chamber of Commerce. Jamie, good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for coming in and being with me and continuing your work on connecting commerce to community.
Yes.
And that doesn't stop even with a global pandemic.
No, I think it's more important than ever, actually, during a global pandemic.
And you've been really thinking outside the box on how to do these things.
Yes. At the beginning, when we were in mid-March, I was thinking we'd be back to normal by, the end of April.
Right. I think we all were. I'm right along there with you.
But
and here we are.
We're not. So we've had to think outside the box. And how do we continue to do what our mission is, which is connecting commerce to community, but advocating for our business members strongly and consistently, and also helping to provide information, whether it's on new PPP loans or testing sites or something new from the Association of Commerce Industry, or providing free masks. I mean, we've given out 20,000 free masks through the chamber.
20,000. I just want everyone to think about that number.
Had to fill my car, which is a kind of a big, it's a big car.
I'm glad you had a big car.
I know.
Yeah.
I had to make 2 trips to Albuquerque to get all the
Holy
boxes of
smokes.
masks and bring them back. So we've given out 20,000 free masks, including 6,000 to Farmington Municipal Schools, 5,000 to the hospital.
Right.
And these are not disposable masks. These are reusable. They can be washed, bleached, reused. We've given 1,000 to Presbyterian Medical Services. We gave 200 to the ARC thrift store. So as their customers, they've been able to reopen now, very limited hours, but they now can provide a mask. I even took some to Distill yesterday. So all over. So for our chamber members, and did give 200 to the CASA program through Child Haven. So 20,000 free masks went out through the Chamber of Commerce, which was pretty cool.
How terrific. Yeah, that is really cool. Yeah. And again, because this is, the world that we're in. And so we have this mask requirement when we're out in public. And I think, to keep everyone safe and to respect our fellow citizens, this is what we're doing these days.
Right. And masks, there's a cost,
Sure.
And we were trying
Sure.
so this was a program actually that was throughout the entire state. So the state of New Mexico received 100,000 masks through a program that Haynes Corporation actually was a part of it. But anyway, they had 100,000 masks, and I originally asked for 10,000. And then they said, oh, well, we have 20,000 for you.
Wow.
And I thought, wow, that's a lot. So how am I going to get those in my car? But anyway, we managed it. And so this was a way that we could hand out these masks and save these either nonprofits or these businesses or the schools or the hospital, save them some expense right now. And that's important. Our business members, the last thing we want them to do right now is to have additional expenses that they have to incur. So we were happy to help.
Yeah, and we're seeing a lot of businesses that have had to incur some expenses. I mean, I should have bought stock in plexiglass.
Yes, exactly, or hand sanitizer. Who knew?
I missed the boat on that one. But I mean, but just think about it, having to install maybe some plexiglass shields at your cash registers. And then if I'm a restaurant, that's a whole other bag of tricks because I've got to think about maybe outdoor dining. But I can still do curbside and takeout delivery as well. But then you were telling me before about liquor licenses and things like that. So I can, if I have a liquor license, I can serve liquor in my building.
Well,
but if I want to do it
outside,
normally, but now that I'm only allowed to dine outside, I need a separate permit for that.
So let's take 2 different restaurants. So Clancy's, for example, this is the first one that popped into my head. They have a patio
Chamber
already.
Member.
Actually, but that's okay. We love them anyway.
All right.
I've known Dan McMullen since I was a kid.
Come on,
so
Clancy.
I know.
Right.
You guys need to join the chamber.
Okay.
Anyway, however, they have a patio already, and they've had a patio forever. We all know it's a really nice patio. So they've already got their liquor license set up that they can serve on their patio. But let's take a different scenario, which is the Chili Pod. So the Chili Pod has a beer and wine license. So for inside their restaurant, when they could have normal in seating and inside dining, thank you, they had that for inside. To carry that out to the front sidewalk, which they're now trying to expand out to so they can continue to serve diners on the outside, that's a different permit. And I'm not saying it's impossible to get, but it's just another step in the process. It's like, so now, she's got, or the Chili Pot has got their outdoor set up with the PVC pipe, but they do have to get a permit from the city of Farmington, I believe, to serve food outside there, which I think
sidewalk.
That is, and those are happening very quickly.
The city wants to do that.
Yeah, and they do want to do that, and they've actually been great about getting the canopies out there to their businesses and stuff. So no, they've been great. And then they do have to have another permit though to serve the beer and wine out on the sidewalk, and that's a different one. So it's just 2 different scenarios, and there are restaurants out there that have absolutely no way to do drive-through or outside. But I do want to emphasize that restaurants can still do curbside delivery, and they can do carry out to go.
And no restaurant has been ordered closed with any public health order. They are still allowed to be open and serving if this to-go or curbside or 50% outdoor dining if they have that available to them.
And I just want to clarify that because I think there's been a little bit of confusion, people thinking restaurants were closed completely, but no, they still can do the the to-go and the carry-out. So I want to bring up another restaurant.
Right.
Chamber member, Boone's Thai. Love Boone's Thai. Right now, the downtown construction has now continued on down towards that side of Main. It is. So so Boone's Thai really doesn't have a way to bump out yet because they're under construction. And so it's really important that people remember to order to go. Right. From Boone's Thai. You can still call in. It might take a little bit of creativity to get in there, but they, so.
But they've got a back door, so it's
they
really
do have a back door, so you can get in through the back door there.
I can park off of Broadway, and I'm right there.
And you're right there, and you can get delicious food. So I think it's just important to clarify that they are open, and then your favorite restaurant that can do. So Si Senor, that's another great example. Chamber member, Si Senor, yay. They have a really nice patio, and they have a beer and wine license, and so they can continue to serve on their patio. And so Si Senor is open. They're open for their little food burrito truck is open.
Right.
Their patio is open for 50%, and then their carry out and to go. So just, I posted something yesterday on Facebook that I really can't emphasize enough. If you have a favorite restaurant or you have a favorite retail store or a favorite coffee shop or whatever it is, you have got to support them now if you want them to be there in 3 months or 6 months or next year when COVID kind of does its thing and we all figure out what the new way to operate business or how we're going to live over the next 6 months. If you want those restaurants or those retail stores to be there tomorrow, you've got to support them today.
Right.
And so that's why we're doing our Back to Business Bingo. So we can segue into that.
I love a segue. I've been waiting to get to Back to Business Bingo. Yes, exactly.
Ooh, can I show
because another outside the box. Well, you can show that one, but I have this one ready to go as well, and so people can see that very clearly. But who doesn't love bingo?
Oh, who doesn't love bingo?
And who doesn't love going to local businesses?
Exactly.
So and that's the combination
right,
of both.
that's exactly the point of this. So we can't really do business after hours right now. Well, we can't do them.
Right.
We can't do our focus on Farmington coffees. We can't do our big ribbon cuttings and things like that we normally do. So we kind of thought, all right, what do we, with our Red Coat Executive Committee, what do we do? So we came up with this idea, kind of went through a few different ideas and ended up with this Back to Business Bingo. So in front of you or on the screen you'll see a business or a bingo card, and there are 9 different squares, and they are all chamber members. You have to be a chamber member to be on this square.
Right.
We have the Chili Pod, we have Chill Dessert Shop because they just moved to a new location. We have Anytime Fitness, both their east and west locations. Durango Joe's on the east side, which is where I just was to get my coffee, the one with the waterfall. Wall Art Gallery and Framing, Distill, Farmers Insurance, the Manchester Agency on Butler, Garcia and Company Jewelers, 5th Generation Trading Company. The whole deal is you go in with this card. All they have to do is sign your card. So this was no expense to these businesses, which I want to emphasize because this was all about how can the chamber help these businesses.
Your members, right.
So you go in, you get your card signed, you get all the squares filled, and then you get it back to me at the chamber. At the end of the summer, we're going to collect all the cards that are completed, and then we're going to draw them out for some great prizes. Patrick and Rita Manchester from the Manchester Agency donated 5 $50 gift cards. We're going to have a gift card from Chili Pod, from Artifacts. We have a gift basket from Wall Art. And we have some other prizes, too, that I'm still putting together.
Sure.
But we're going to be drawing out these cards and giving out the prizes. So the fun thing about this is this card changes every 2 weeks. So it's not just one card through the whole summer. So you have to keep getting a new card. And following the new public health order from last week, I decided it would be fun to do an all-restaurant card. So the next card is going to be all chamber restaurants. So we will have on there Los Hermanitos, and we'll have the Chili Pod, and we will have Boone's Thai, and Red Rocks Roadhouse. And so we're going to have our chamber members on there so we can say, hey, go in and get your card signed and get food to go. We want you to try to support. That's a lot of eating out over 2 weeks, I know, and we're actually going to put 12 squares on it next time. But we want you to go and think about, could I get breakfast there? Could I get lunch there to go? Could I go through the drive-through at Durango Joe's and get my coffee and have them sign the card? So that'll be the next card, and then we'll do another card. But it's just a way to highlight our chamber members and help get people into their store.
Right.
And remember, please follow the guidelines. If they're asking you to wear a mask, which they all are right now, because it's required of them to do that, please do so. Please have a mask with you. Put it on. Show support for them in that way.
Right.
And
why would you want your favorite business to get fined? from not having
none of us
person
want
not
that.
having a mask
None
inside,
of us
right?
want that. We don't want our businesses to get fined, and we don't want the customers to get fined either.
No,
and
of course not.
that is a potential of that new public health order too. We want our businesses to stay in business and come through this stronger and better on the other side. So please wear a mask and just get your card signed. And while you're there, think about supporting them. If you go to Chill Dessert Shop to think about getting an ice cream to go. I mean,
Sure.
let's help support
It's
these
95
businesses.
degrees outside. Good grief.
Exactly. Who wouldn't want an ice cream?
Oh my gosh.
So
I need
anyway,
one right now.
that is what we are doing. You can get a card off of our website, which is gofarmington.com. I've been posting pictures on Facebook, so you could actually save that picture and then print it out, or you can just call me. I've mailed them to people. I've emailed them to people. Also, some of these locations, that's what I'm going to be doing today, is taking stacks of cards around to all the locations. So if you go into that restaurant, pick up a bingo card, have them sign it, and then take it with you and go visit all the other ones. So I'm going to be doing a lot of that today.
Nice.
Right.
And so the rules are, I've got to get all those squares signed, and then I can hand
By
it
the end
back
of the
in.
summer.
By the end of the summer.
And do as many cards as you can. So we're
Okay.
going to have this one ends the end of this week.
But it
then
doesn't
we're
mean I
doing
have
a
to get them all
restaurant card.
signed by the end of next week, right? I have a
No,
little
you
bit
could take
more
around.
time.
No, you'll have more time.
Okay.
Originally, I was like, you only have 2 weeks to get it signed, and I was like, how am I even going to keep track of that?
Right.
So, so just get it to me at the chamber. So by the end of the summer, you're probably going to have a good 6, 8 cards. Get them to us, and then we will do a fun
But that's
day
6 to 8
live.
chances to win.
Right, exactly. Lots of chances and fun prizes, and why not? I mean,
Yeah.
we got to think outside the box right now, and we have to do whatever we can to support our local businesses. So.
Right. And I get that, when you have to shut your dining room down, that's income. That's people that can't come and sit and have a meal in your your restaurant. Even if you can open at 50%, that's still a cut in the potential revenue that you could be making. So that's why we have to support these places, even for to-go and curbside and all those things.
Let me give you another example. So Sunday night, before the new thing was going to start on Monday, I went out to dinner at a restaurant, a chamber member, large restaurant on the east side of town.
Okay.
And I was talking to our waitress, and we were wrapping up dinner, and I was talking to our waitress, and I said, "So, what happens tomorrow?" And she said she's probably going to be laid off. And I said, "How many people does it take staff-wise to do the curbside and the takeout?" And she said it's about 4 people a shift.
That's it.
That's
Yeah.
it.
Right.
So normally, when your dining room is, don't even talk about full capacity.
Right.
When you really have probably 20 people per shift. During this last, where it's been 50% social distancing for in seating, it's been like, she said, approximately 11 people per shift to get it done. And now, today or Monday, it'll be 4 people a shift. It just doesn't take that many people. You have probably a couple people in the kitchen, and you have a couple people out running, maybe a manager. So it doesn't take as much staff. So all those other people that now no longer have work right now, it's probably back to unemployment.
Right.
That is also an expense on our businesses because there's a tax involved with that. And I'm not saying that there's no blame here, and I'm not trying to get into anything. It's just reality. And so we have to think, while yes, we understand why this was done and the numbers, and we all understand COVID, and we all understand the testing, everything that's happening, there's another side to this that your restaurant isn't going to be able to keep all those people employed when we go back to curbside or restricted operations. So just something else to think about.
Exactly.
So tip generously, because
they're
not, that's another thing. A lot of people think, I picked it up, I don't have to tip.
Right.
And
I know.
These people, especially in that food service industry, that's a lot of how they survive. But so if you do curbside, or just because you're picking it up to go, please remember to tip. And that's important too.
That's a good point. Yeah. But again, there's a lot of great businesses who are members of the Chamber of Commerce, and you can find them on your website, I know, gofarmington.com.
Yes.
And part of this Back to Business Bingo, is that what we're calling it?
Yes, Back to Business Bingo.
Is that what we're calling it? Yes, it is. Are you going to be highlighting a lot of them, if not all of your chamber businesses, as many as you can,
yes.
right?
Now, obviously,
that are
some
open to
aren't.
customers.
Yeah. Now, some of our chamber members, it's the banks right now. That
Right.
that's difficult. Doctors' offices. We're
True.
so we're really trying to think about who are the ones that would work, that would be great to go in and do this. We hope you'll spend some time with them visiting and just support them and say, hey, we're so glad you're a chamber member. And the other thing is, if you are not a chamber member but you want to get a card and play bingo, you can. Anybody can play this.
Yes.
In fact, the more people in Farmington running around getting these things signed, the better. But to be on the card, you have to be a chamber member, but anybody can get one of these cards and win prizes. It doesn't, so we're as I drive around, I look at all of our chamber members and think, oh, I could put them on the card. I'll put them on the card. So just trying to be fun, be creative. If you're not on the card yet and you're one of our chamber members and you want to be, please give me a call and say, hey, I'd like to be on that, and we'll try to get you on there as soon as we can.
There you go. Very good. And of course, so this has been out for maybe about a week now, right?
Yeah,
A little
it
over a week?
started, so this was its second week. And our first week, we kind of opened it up to our Red Coat committee, our Red Coat ambassadors, because we have about 55 active Red Coats that haven't been able to do any ribbon cutting since March. So we started this and kind of exclusively opened it up to them first to be like, hey, this is a fun thing to let you know we're still wanting our Red Coats to be out there. So we
Right.
did it with them first, and then on Friday of last week, we kind of opened it up, and I did a video and a Facebook Live, and which brings me to the next thing.
Right.
Look at all my segues.
Well, great segues you have this morning. Yes.
Oh, I'm doing so good with my segues.
I like it.
today.
I like it. So Facebook Live, there's something coming
Facebook
up?
Live, yes.
'Cause
So
we love Facebook Live.
Right.
We're on Facebook Live right now.
Oh, yay.
Yeah.
How fun. So businesses during COVID have had, sometimes we know we're absolutely shut down. If they weren't essential, they had to
That's right.
absolutely close their doors. And so how do you continue to engage customers? How do you continue to drive business? And social media has some very good tools for that. And a lot of us don't understand how to use all the tools. And one of those is Facebook Live. So I was on a phone call with Warren Unsicker from the city, and we were talking about some different things, and we came up with maybe it would be helpful to do some kind of a training about Facebook Live. And so we have two chamber members. They're actually board members as well as businesses that belong to the chamber. It's Sheila Mobley with Details Boutique and Ashley Dye Ritter, who has the Dyed Poppy. And both of them did a really great job during the entire COVID of doing Facebook Live weekly and engaging their customers. Are you scrolling through all my posts to find it?
I'm looking for it.
It's there. Keep scrolling.
I'm going. I'm looking.
Keep going. So, so they did a great job of Facebook Live events. And so we're doing a training at the chamber. It's going to be Facebook Live, and it's going to be live streamed. There it is. It's going to be live streamed. So it's this Thursday at 5 p.m. And all you have to do is go to the Farmington Chamber of Commerce page, and when the event starts, you can watch it. Or the better thing to do is go like our chamber page right now. Like it, and you'll get a notification when that Facebook Live event starts and the watch party starts. So Sheila and Ashley it's going to be about 20-25 minutes. They're going to be talking about how to successfully do a Facebook Live event and creatively do one, and then some things about what not to do, what they learned,
Right.
and how do you build your audience? Because when I do Facebook Lives, I have like 3 people watching. They've done a really good job of building their audience. So now when Sheila does her Wednesday night Facebook Live event, she's got lots of people, hundreds of people watching. And so, but that took time. And so they are going to be doing things on, how they got started, how the Facebook Live actually increased their business during COVID.
Mm-hmm.
And they're both, going to be giving us some really good information on how they do that. So we want businesses, any business, to watch this and really think about maybe how could they use Facebook Live. So for example, one of our restaurants, we don't have one doing this, but I thought it would be a good idea, maybe could do a weekly cooking thing. Take 15-20 minutes, get the ingredients out, do a Facebook Live. This
Sure.
is how we make our guacamole, or this is how you can make a delicious slider, or whatever it is. A cooking class in their restaurant, and then say if you would like to stop by and pick up one of these to go, here's how to do it. Just Facebook us and order to go, and we'll bring one out to the curbside for you. So that's an example for restaurants.
Mm-hmm.
But I think any business right now, it's all about kind of going, how do we do things a little bit differently?
Right. And it's free.
Oh yeah, it's free.
I mean,
Right.
Facebook is free, and Facebook Live is
Oh, yes,
free. I mean, that's the thing.
yes. It's all free.
Your event is free, but using
It is.
that
It's
tool
free.
is a free tool.
Right.
I mean, as much as we love advertising and
Right.
supporting the media and things like that, you can use some of these tools to maybe help your business and grow your audience and grow your potential
Right.
customers, which is what you're talking about.
Right, exactly. And I mean, I can think of lots of businesses that could do something that could help support their business right now during this time, that they could use social media. And a lot of people are like, I don't want to be on social media. I don't like all the drama. But if you go onto Facebook and you just like certain pages, so KSJE, for example, Farmington Chamber
We are
of
drama
Commerce.
free.
Yes.
We try to be drama free.
Just like those certain pages, you're actually going to find out a lot of information about what's going on in the community. And then you have access to things like this, like Facebook Live or your shows and your updates on what you're doing. It helps you really stay informed. And yes, there's a whole variety of outlets for
Sure.
getting information out. Radio and the newspaper and social media. And let's face it, it's not going away. It's just always evolving and changing. 2 months ago, somebody was talking to me about TikTok, and I was like, what's TikTok? I mean, there's always something new.
Right.
And so I think using the tools that are there and figuring out how to use them effectively and to engage customers and engage an audience is really important.
True.
So.
And everybody that I talk to in this community says that we are a Facebook community. So if you
Yes.
want to reach potential customers in
Yes.
Farmington, San Juan County, New Mexico,
Right.
it's not Twitter necessarily, it's not TikTok yet, it
Right.
is Facebook.
Right.
That's the
It is.
pill you got to swallow.
It is.
If you want to
Right.
reach out to those folks.
Right. And again, you can just follow and like the pages that you feel really provide you. I always
Sure.
say, the city of Farmington
Yep.
and San Juan County and, the hospital, the schools, because that's where they're sharing what's going on. They're sharing about meetings and what's happening and their plans for the future. And so that's how you get great information. And then you can share that reliable information because it's coming from a reliable source. It's not coming necessarily from rumors or from something that's not as reliable. It's coming from a reliable source that you can feel good then about going and saying, hey, I saw this on the City of Farmington page, or I saw it on the KSJE page, and so
Right.
it's trustworthy. So
Yeah, that's what we hope.
yes,
But I
yes,
agree
well,
with you.
Scott. I think you're trustworthy.
Thank you.
So.
We work very hard to be
Yes,
trustworthy, and
exactly.
we have for a number of years. But anyway, but I think it's a great service. And again, Facebook is the tool to use, and it's a way to get connected.
Right.
And again, I think it's a great piece of advice to just like the things that you like,
Right.
and then you can avoid all the stuff that's a
Right.
little more inflammatory.
Right, exactly. Because right now, and it's hard. I mean, there is a lot of information going around,
Yeah.
and some of it is absolutely accurate. Some of it is maybe more of like, well, I heard or I saw. And so we want to make sure that when I share information too on our chamber page, I make sure it's coming from a reliable source. And because we need that information right now, and it's changing daily.
That's very true,
What's coming
too.
out is changing every single day.
true.
And so and recently I came out with a top 10 reasons to join the Chamber of Commerce, because a lot of people are like, what is a Chamber of Commerce? But anyway, I came out with the top 10 reasons. And one of them was because during times of emergency or crisis, we are a reliable source of information, and we work really hard to share that information, not just with our members, but with our community. So anybody can like our Chamber Facebook page. You don't have to be a Chamber member to like that page.
Right.
So we hope you will become a Chamber member if you own a business or you're part of a business. We hope you will. We need your support. That's how we're staying afloat, is our member support right now, just like you.
Right.
So it's important, but that was one of my top 10 reasons, is we do share information, and we share it as quickly as we get it, and we try to share reliable information.
And again, a lot of it is about how to do these things cost effectively.
Yes.
Reach out, expand your business.
Right.
Promote your products
Right.
and really cultivate new customers, and that's kind of what
Right.
it's all about, especially
Right.
these days.
Exactly.
So there you go.
Right.
Well, Jamie, we are out of time this morning.
Seriously?
There's so much more to talk about. I know. That's why you come back every month.
Gosh, I talk so fast, too.
It's okay. It's lots of information.
It
That's
is
what we're
lots of
talking about.
information.
That's all right. But thank you for
All right.
coming in this
You bet.
morning.
Thanks.
We're really excited about Back to Business Bingo.
Yeah,
and
if you want a card, call me at the chamber. I'll be down there in about 10 minutes.
See?
And the number there is 325-0279, or you can get it right off our website, gofarmington.com, and we'll get you a card. Or stop
Okay.
by the chamber and pick one up.
You can do that too.
Our doors are open now for modified hours, but yeah, we are there. So just come by and get one.
There you go. Perfect.
All right.
Great customer service. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
We will
All
see
right.
you next time.
You betcha.
That is Jamie Church, everyone, from the Farmington Chamber of Commerce. My guest this morning here with me on KSJE. And I'll be back with more in just a moment. The time right now is coming up on 8:44.
I'm Tracy K. Smith, and this is The Slowdown.